last week, Trudeau was doing some rounds and people are just like, Justin, how you feeling? How's life? Are you aware that people want you to step down? And he was like, honestly, this job sucks. I get boring at times, not enjoying it, but I wouldn't be a man if I stepped down in this moment. And on top of that, y'all can suck it because we are going to increase the carbon tax on April 1st. We're going to do what's best for Canadians for generations from years from now. I don't really care if what happens to people today. What was your reaction to that? What you seen online? What's going through this man's head?
From a political comms side of things, I think that he is tired. I've been saying that for a while. He's been doing some sloppy things that you don't see from someone that's expecting to win again or wants to win again. The Jamaica trip was really the tell-all for me. But, it was a French media interview that he apparently did, and he was apparently misquoted saying that the job is not boring. He didn't actually mean that. But, all of his major comms people were spending the weekend defending that. They're like, he didn't say it's boring, but they're not paying attention to the fact that he said he wants to quit every day. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, that's worse in my opinion. Wouldn't be shocked if he wants to quit every day. The vitriol's huge. His wife publicly left him, apparently has been saying some things that have been kind of shady towards him. Not shocked at all. But the carbon tax, to me, it's just, I genuinely don't understand their thought process with this. I understand implementing the carbon tax and how they truly feel that this is going to, affect people's decisions when it comes to the environment. But at the same time, why are you increasing it on April 1st? You have the ability to pause the increase. You also have the ability to pause your wage increase. We saw Stephen Harper did it during his time in government, but they're not doing that. And it's like, how are you going to stand in the House of Commons and say, we know times are tough for a lot of people right now. Okay, then keep the carbon tax if that's what you want to do. But why are you also increasing it? So I think that's why now you're seeing the conservative messaging changing. Now their new slogan is spike the hike or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not only do they want to axe the tax, but they're also trying to fight against them spiking it because they're also increasing it. They're going to have a really hard time selling this to Canadians on all sides of the fence on this one.
I feel like one of the big things that I hear a lot about the carbon tax is that it's supposed to curb people's spending and their habits when it comes to things that are polluting. But it's funny because when you look at and you would know this from economics, when you have things that are fundamental to life, like being able to get to work, being able to heat your home, being able to grow vegetables, things like that all are interdependent and use fossil fuels. It's what do you expect to happen? People aren't going to stop going to work. People aren't going to stop heating their homes. And so I feel like it was very misguided in that way. And for them to just keep raising the tax, it's people have already cut back where they can. All you're left with is the essentials. And so, I even did a little math because I was looking at how much as a Nova Scotian I would get from the carbon tax rebate. I can't remember what they renamed it to, but I was the amount of tax that I pay now in carbon tax on my fuel to go to work every week is far greater than the amount that I'm getting back. And that's just my gas for my car, let alone everything else.
It's because you're a major polluter, Reg, and you suck at life.
Apparently. But I even did the other tax. I went and looked at the fact that I was okay, I can't get public transit where I'm at. But I was if I took public transit, how much does a public transit bus use in diesel? And then I looked at how much that would cost over the Halifax, public transit fleet. It's going to run them an extra $7 million a year in their budget just to run those buses because of the carbon tax. And it's that's money that they now have to charge on property tax to make up for that loss in their revenue. So it's really, really hard. And I just don't understand where they're coming from when they're saying this is going to be something that's going to really help people make better decisions about the environment. So it doesn't make sense. So make it make sense.
I remember getting into a fight with somebody on Twitter about this and how they were you just need to figure it out. And they suggested, I went to their profile and I think they were from Vancouver or something. And they were have you considered riding a bike to work? And I'm what do you mean? And I think these people are really out of touch with what life is like in Saskatchewan. So we have this is off topic, but we have this group on Facebook called WTF Prince Albert, because Prince Albert is a very unique place on its own. And someone caught someone riding a bike in the snow like a month ago, and I so badly want to go find that person that I was fighting with. And I don't know if you guys can see.
Oh,
Yeah.
gee. Wow. That's a trooper.
But I'm like, am I gonna put my kids on my bike and go bike in like 4 feet of snow? And like our public transit here is not great. It only operates at certain times. And like it's just but there's a disconnect, right? Like there's a huge disconnect where people genuinely don't understand. And heating my home in the wintertime is not negotiable. It's
Yeah.
not negotiable. So
Yeah, I totally agree. And like that was the thing is like I don't have the option of public transit where I live. Like it's not available. I have to travel like a good 10 minutes to get to public transit to then take it. And how am I going to get there? I can't fly. So the disconnect is real. And it's funny because like coming as somebody with a background in business as my undergrad and then environmental science sustainability as my master's, I'm like, it doesn't add up, guys. There's so many better things that we could be doing and so many better policies. And something I was kind of like flirting with over the weekend was the idea of that there's different places around the world that use royalties off of oil and gas, off of mineral extraction, what have you. And that's what funds their social programs. I mean, we saw that Norway did it. I think Wyoming does it. North Dakota does it. Different places. And I'm thinking like one of the biggest problems in Canada is the fact that when they do extraction, that you're left with like this massive cleanup that has to happen. And usually the province or the government has to clean it up. And it's the taxpayer that holds the bill at the end of the day. And I'm curious what your thoughts are if you actually implemented something kind of like an insurance program like the CMHC has for housing, where you implemented like almost like an environmental insurance program where you can come in and do that economic development and resource development, pay the province's royalties, but then also have this this insurance program for cleanup, basically, if something goes wrong. Do you think something like that could work?
I think so. I think that the government is going to need to get creative. I also think, if the Conservatives win the next election, they're also going to need to get created. I think if they just axe the tax altogether, there's going to be a lot of people that are looking for that leadership on, environmental policies. So yeah,